My real name is Nizar Abu El Fadl. That's an Arabic name, and I go by Drunk Panda DP. I'm 21 years old, and I would like to define myself as an artist, not just an hip hop or a rapper. I don't like to put myself in a box like that. I would love to do anything that is music related, um, because music in general just captivates and uh, it pulls me in. It's something like spiritual to me by now, and it has definitely been a huge part of my identity. And yeah, when I started this journey, of course, I had big dreams, just like anybody who starts a dream. Um, I was definitely passionate, compassionate. I was enthusiastic. I was just ready to go. But still seeing some of the things that I dreamt of back then come into fruition and realization. It was still like it was something out of a fantasy, and I just can't wait for what's coming because I know this is absolutely nothing compared to what's actually coming. And I would like people to actually get the chance to witness my rise to the top because I am definitely next up, and I have no hesitation to say that and put it out there.
I mean, you're moving like it as well. When did you start making music?
I started making music. I was writing poems back in 2019, 2018, and 2019. I've written my first verse in the pandemic, but I've never got into music. I just thought that um, maybe I should write a rap verse for, I don't know, because I had stopped making poems by 2020, and I just randomly written a rap verse because music, it was definitely my companion through that period. And in August of 2020, the 22nd of August, I've published my first freestyle on Instagram, and I had like crazy support from all of my friends and people who didn't know me, just saw my freestyle through some of my friends. And I officially announced that I'm gonna be an artist, or at least try to be, and start my career back then and there. So it's 22nd of August 2020. So basically 2 years and a couple of months.
Okay. Now that's really interesting. That means you're fresh, like you've just entered
Yeah,
the game basically, and
yeah.
you decided to take this major step. Now, I would like us to just talk about that. The fact that you published your first freestyle, 22nd August 2020. Now, if you hadn't received that kind of feedback, what I'm curious to find out is what do you think the direction you'd have taken would have looked like? Would you have continued to pursue music the way you have?
Uh, to be honest, like what made me publish that freestyle was one of my friends. He was an old friend of mine, and I we hadn't met for so long, but during the pandemic, by random chance, we met again, and he was with some of my other old friends, just jamming out and making music as underground as they could be. They were just hanging out in a rooftop room and just having fun with it. Not a lot of people listened to their music, but they were really passionate about it. And me just being that much into music, I was drawn to that. And that pushed me into trying to do something like that. So I believe the support, as good as it was, and um, for how much it helped me like build my base. I think if it wasn't like that, uh, if I had negative like feedback from the people, my next move would definitely be trying to make a better verse. So I don't think I would have ever just stopped there because I made that move out of love. So the next move would also be out of love. I probably wouldn't feel like I should officially kick off my career, but I will definitely try and do better because music is just something that is ingrained in me by now. So it would definitely not be just the end of it all.
I like the way you think in terms of perspective. That is a
Yeah,
powerful perspective that you shared
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of, you know what, if it didn't strike
Thank
the
you.
way it did, I'm going to try again. I'm going to do better. That's like you said, even out of love. That is an answer
Yeah,
that I resonate with. But now let's talk about that from 22nd August. That's 2020. You've dropped your first freestyle. Things are looking good. Now we get into the following year. Let's say 2021. What happened between 22nd August 2020 and June 2022 to inspire you to actually shoot for the stars or for the moon?
I've published my first. It wasn't like a fully fledged song. It was just like a SpongeBob instrumental remix. I did a little something with it and I decided to publish it on YouTube. I was aware that it was not an actual song. It was just me dropping some bars and just having fun with it. It was more comical than actually lyrical or any sort of rap that it could be considered as. So I published that and I found myself very flexible when it comes to um, my my the way that I think and the way that I want to approach things. It's not like okay, I'm gonna do this one thing and master it. I was like, I have the facility to try as much as I can, but also try to do different things as well. So I wrote a chill song, and it was my first official actual song. It is called Whispers, and people jam to it like crazy. Like not a lot of people actually seen the video and seen the song, but the ones that did felt so much about it, and it resonated with them too much for me to consider it as a failure, even though it didn't get as much views as the first one. And afterwards, I was just trying different things. I went the aggressive lane. I did some fast rap. I tried to be lyrical as well. I did a couple of remix. It, between 2020 and 2022, it wasn't me trying to pop up. It was just me trying to find myself as an artist, try to find my strengths and weaknesses, and develop as much as I can before I get my chance to actually show up. Because if I have a chance and if it comes closer and I would go on with it with no ammo, no fuel, or nothing to back me up, I could be doing a huge, I would be in disadvantage basically because I feel like the next big thing would not get as much attention as the first. So, in my first global or wide wide appearance, I need to have as much baggage as I can. I need to be as developed as I can. I need to be ready. I need to have um, I need to have more ammo, as I said. So I was not looking for exposure. I was just trying to develop as much as I can and expand my reach throughout the music genres. I did R&B as well at the end of 2021. Um, I went the emotional lane and went with emo rap. I sang a little bit in June. Um, so I think that was it. That was definitely it. And also the song "Pretty Poison Potion." It was the one that I posted before June, and I went the emotional type of rap type of lane, and it got crazy appeal as well. And when the opportunity came, it came by blind chance. I was having difficulties to actually sleep and I couldn't sleep. So I just checked my phone and I found this random announcement out of nowhere. This huge competition is kicking off and I can actually register as an artist. I just found it randomly on Instagram, and when I signed up, I didn't have big expectations, or um, I did everything that I should do to register. I downloaded the application. I posted one remix of a song, and it wasn't even my best song. And I was like, okay, that's it. And by the end of June, they sent emails to the people who registered to notify them that the competition is about to kick off. It was sent by, I believe, the 28th of June. And the first round of the competition kicks off the 1st of July. And before the 1st of July, I have also notified my cousin, Kamikaze, to actually join and try his luck. And he was even less serious than I was. And conveniently enough, in the last day of June, he was staying over my house, and I was randomly checking my emails, and I had completely forgot about the competition. And then I felt like, okay, my registration was successful, and I can actually compete for the first round. And I had no bloody idea about what the rewards are, or what's at stake, or how the competition goes. But just to get that chance, it was a really big moment for me, especially when I found out that both of us were accepted in the registration. I never had a brother, so with Kamikaze or Anas, he's always been kind of like a younger brother to me. And along the way, while we were growing up, I've always tried to pick up the good habits, the habits that I feel that are good in me, and um, try to be some sort of a role model to him. And I've got him into a lot of stuff, uh, like basketball and music, especially music. Music is one of those things that he picked up from me. And I'm not trying to take credit for everything he did or nothing like that, but I'm just trying to showcase the kind of relationship that we have. It's we're past we're past being just cousins. We're almost like brothers. And when I found the opportunity, of course, I had my expectations as low as possible. But if it did actually work, I would not let it slip from his radar, knowing he's also an artist, and he would seize his chance when he would seize his opportunity when he gets the chance. So I want him to have the same opportunity, especially that it was given to me randomly by social media. He can actually join. He can join in as well. So this could be something big for him, especially with the time that it came in. A lot of things were going on in the family, especially for him. A lot of bad things were going on in his life, and he needed something positive to actually focus on, something in which he could himself, and that was one big opportunity for him. I would never just let it slide under his radar, or fearing that he would be a competitor against me, and that we would have to go neck to neck. Uh, com- Competition and being competitive is one of my attributes as well. So um, it was nothing that could ever make the slightest um, miscomfort, or something that could actually distort our relationship. It was something that we actually worked on, both of us, during the first round, and also while shooting our interviews and everything that went behind the scenes for the semifinals. So, as even though we were competitors, we went against each other. We were there for each other as well, and that was the beauty of it, because um, this is art. even though we were competing against each other and we both wanted to win so bad and be at the top of this. And even though we knew it would come to us being against each other, we still stuck for each other when it mattered the most. And I found him there for me, and he found me there for him. And this um, just proves to me how close we are. And um, it's not that easy to actually drift us apart, because a lot of people told us and praised us for the healthy relationship that we have to be competitors and still be this amicable toward each other and this supportive and um, this selfless. It's not something that you find in people, even if they were actually real brothers. So it was something that I would never forget, and it was a big experience for the both of us.
Mm. Good on you guys. Shout out to him as well. I feel
Yeah,
like that kind of relationship is
yeah.
important.
Shout out to Kamikaze.
Yeah, the journey, having
Definitely.
someone who's got your back and you've got theirs, sounds like a good thing to have.
Yeah,
Earlier you mentioned
yeah.
that you spend time defining your sound or trying to, refine what it is you want to sound like when you go out there, something solid. And this opportunity came. Do you feel like it came when you had already solidified that, or you're still in the process of doing that, refining your sound?
To be honest, I would never. I personally feel like I will always be developing, no matter where I get. So I'm always trying to refine myself and reach my peak, which is something that I don't like to say because I never want to reach my peak. I want to be uh, on the rise of things forever, as long as I'm alive and I'm capable of creating. So of course it came at a moment where I was still trying to develop and still trying to find myself. But I feel like no matter what time it would come in or come at, um, it would always be a time where I'm still trying to develop myself even more and even further. But yeah, I still feel like I have a lot to learn and a lot to work on. I still there's a lot of room. Uh, there's a lot of space for improvements to be made. But the competition came when it did, and it was convenient for a lot of reasons. And I'm glad it did when it did.
Okay. Now let's talk about take back the mic. For someone maybe who
Yeah.
wants to participate in the next season, because I understand that right now it's complete, but for someone who wants to take part in it next time, what does it entail? Say I join Take Back the Mic, what can I expect? What are the kind of activities or tasks that I get to do? You can just give us a summary of what that experience was for you.
So I'll be talking about the third season because uh, there's always improvements and stuff to be added each and every single season. But for me, in the third season, and um, it was a 3 round process. If we add the registration period, it's basically 4 rounds. So when you register, and everybody can register, and it doesn't only involve around musical artists. One of the finalists was actually a painter, and she was really damn good. Um, you could be a filmmaker, you could be a role model, you could be a you could be a singer, you could be a writer, you could be a poet. Um, but it normally and usually involves a lot of rappers and singers. When you register, you put your stuff on the application for people to see. And as DNA said, the host and the founder of the competition, it is basically a game. With each and every round, uh, you post your craft on the application, and it's about the engagement you get out of each and every single project you drop. You try to get your fans and your community to rally up your creations by viewing and commenting or amping on each and every single video you put out there. The higher your audience engage with your craft, the higher is your chance to make it to the top. In the first round, all you compete with other people from your country, and the first two artists will immediately go to the semifinals, and the third artist will be picked by the judges. It could be the third in the leaderboard, it could be the fourth, it could be the fifth. It's based on what the judges feel about the artists participating. And in the semifinals, there are three artists from each and every country. There are 10 countries participating, and you basically compete against artists from your country to see who is the country's champion. And the country's champion go to the finals to represent their home country against all the other finalists and other country champions. So you rally up your fans, you rally up your friends, your family to watch what you put out, while you also try to be aware that not only that your people would be watching those videos and your music, um, the competition's audience will be watching as well. There are mentors uh, who do quick televised reactions about 30 seconds that would be picked randomly from one of your projects. They pick a random 30-second. It could be a song. It could be basically, let's talk about my experience. They picked 30 seconds from one of the songs that I posted on the application without giving them any information about who I am. They just listen. They just listened to the song that I put out. They gave them Pretty Poison Potion, and they gave their honest reaction to how they felt listening to the song. And um, I got pretty much positive feedback, and I loved how the mentals actually jammed and resonated with the song, because that song was pretty personal to me. And yeah, it was a big moment for me as well. It was one of the biggest moments throughout this experience. Um, I also forgot that the people who get picked from the first round will be notified from the organizers that they will be expecting a crew to come and film them for a quick artist profile to be shown on TV, and also to film a video clip um, for a song of their choosing. And both the artist profile and the video clip would be televised on the competition. They begin with the artist profiles. Let's say after the first round, and after they film all the artists and they're with that phase, they go to the semifinals with televised period of the show. Um, each episode airs the competitors from two countries, and so basically you have six artists every single episode in the semifinals, and you have five episodes in the semifinals to showcase all 10 countries. With each episode, they showcase the artist profile, basically the artists telling their stories, and how they come up as artists, also asking them a couple of questions. And all this will be televised alongside the 30-second reaction from the mentors. That's in the semifinals. And at the end of each and every episode, they announce the winners from the previous episode. So you get two winners announced per episode, beginning from the second episode. So let's say this year they started with Ethiopia and Ghana, and in the second episode, I believe, they aired the artists from Kenya and Tanzania. But at the end of the second episode, they announced the winners from the previous episode from Ghana and Ethiopia, and that how it goes like that for the rest of the semifinals. And after the semifinals, and after the artists have been chosen and had won um, their country's championship, there's an episode of the road to the finals. Just a quick reminder of the artists who had won and made it to the finals, and quick words from the mentors and the country's captains and everything. And then we move on to the finals. The finals are a little bit different from the semifinals because while you also have the voting from your fans, there's also the voting of the country captains, which are basically the country's finalists from the previous season. So those captains uh, count for, I believe it was 50,000 points, which is a lot compared to the amount of points your fans can give you. So based on who they vote on and who the fans had chosen during the voting period, you get your season winner. It was hectic, to be honest, this year. There is the first prize, which it amounts to $25,000 and an appearance on a billboard in Times Square, which you already know how big of a deal it is to be seen in the
Yeah.
most famous street in the world. It is very big, and that's what I aimed for initially. There are other sub prizes. There's the founders prize, which is the prize that I had won, which basically refers to the organizers and the founders of the competition and who they believe is their best artist that season. So the organizers and the founders had chosen me as their favorite artist this season. And that was a great honor to me, especially that I didn't get to win the voting
Mm.
with the other competitors. And I came in fifth, I believe, and fourth after the country captains voting. And there is the fan favorite prize, which is basically just who the fans voted for throughout the whole competition from the start to the till the end. And then there is the filmmaker prize, which is basically about who had the best artist profile, and it is a prize shared between the artists and the filmmakers who made their artist profile. Um, the competition is a lot more complex to actually go through, but to anybody who are thinking about joining the campaign for next year, it is definitely an experience worth going through. Even though if you don't even go through the first round, you definitely get experience going through something like that, especially for an upcoming artist. And it's definitely a big, big, big chance for people who don't get the exposure or don't have the materials to actually showcase themselves to the world. And um, if you feel good enough about yourself, and if you feel like you could take on the world with what you do, and you have enough confidence in what you're doing, just go for it. You definitely have room there. And the best thing was, after the competition, there was no like bitter losers or winners scenario. We all became a part of a big family, and I still talk to a lot of the other competitors from the other nations. The winner, Nikki, is one of is a close friend now, which is really great because she's really sweet. And um, there's also Mr. Dre from Kenya. There's Hybrid, which was pretty much the first friend I've made with the competition. There's J93, Dag Maui, even though we don't talk a lot. Rick Spade, yeah, Anik, even though we don't talk a lot as well. But everybody was pretty sweet. Everybody was swell. They were humble. They were good, and yeah, it's a really good experience. Just for the experience alone, I would go through. I would go through it all over again, just for the experience. Even though I would be sure to not gain anything other than the experience from it, I would still definitely want to go through it again.
Yeah, it seems to be a life-changing experience in a sense.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
definitely.
you've spoken of the networks you've made. Networking is a very important thing. Just generally
Yeah,
in life, getting to know new
yeah,
people. You don't know what happens further down the road in life. So I feel that's an important part. You also told me something new. I had been under the assumption that the competition was just for like musicians, which is, singers, rappers, along those lines. So you telling me that painters, actors, like just general people who are in the
yeah,
arts, space can actually participate and have a chance. That has changed my entire thinking, and
yes,
also kind of widens the net
yeah,
for the people maybe I'll talk to about this whole competition, because I remember I had my eye on it at season 2 when Yayo won. I was just watching and seeing how it goes, and now even during this, you mentioned hybrid, and I actually had hybrid on the podcast. I think that's how we actually connected, right? You saw his story, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken, and then you reached out, which I really
yeah.
appreciate as well. I appreciate that. It allowed me to
I
get,
appreciate the chance.
sorry.
I said I appreciate the chance as well.
Yeah,
It's
of
great to
course,
just
man.
get with the talks. Yeah,
Yeah, so just just getting to, have a conversation with you and see what your experience was in this thing, because I hadn't had the opportunity to have a one-on-one with someone in detail about this. So
yeah.
I would like us now to talk about what you see, uh, the impact it's going to have on your career now that it's done, right? Because you've broken down the 6 awards. If I'm not mistaken, they're around six, right? Six,
Uh,
okay, not awards, but forms of recognition in the competition.
there
There
are
are
four awards.
4 awards.
The yeah, four awards.
Oh, okay.
But if you count,
Uh huh.
the filmmakers as well,
Mm,
because the winner's filmmaker get an award as well, and for the best story, the
mm,
filmmakers and the artist make money and share the prize. So
mm.
basically, six winners, but there's
Okay.
only four awards. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now post that, what impact do you see it having on your career going forward as an artist?
As I said, just the experience uh,
Mm,
alone is not to be messed with because um, basically I can go around and talk about how I was Morocco's champion in an international televised competition. That alone, that alone gives the artist some sort of portrait about their art. Like I'm, I'm not to be messed with. That's just for me, basically for me, because I've
mm,
put in the work and it paid and it showed. Uh, I remember not being able to actually sleep or eat for a few nights, and I was at a certain pace when I was literally posting 2 to 3 songs each day because the voting part has only 4 days during the semifinals, but on the finals there are 5 days to voting. Um, there's this hard working and actually being organized about it and being creative about how you reach your audience and still captivate them and keep them on their toes. um, there's the advertising part of it as well. uh, there's also I'm also like a bit more aware of how this thing goes when it comes to competing or being in a competition with loads of other artists who not only are different from you uh, when it comes to their country or their beliefs or their race, or they're a lot different from you, but their music is also different. They were not just rappers, they were singers, they were beat makers. Um, and you just try to make your work stands out from the rest. And when you put your head in that space, it almost feels like nothing else matter anymore beside what you're working on. And you get in that weird zen phase when you think music, you breathe music, you consume music, you that's everything for you at a certain time. And also there's the part where holy crap, I'm actually representing my country in this, and I have to do my best to actually make an impact. And especially for us African people, you don't get chances like that often. And the world isn't the world isn't merciful anywhere, but especially in, let's say, my country. I don't feel like people appreciate art as much as they should, and people see it as a way to entertain, and that's the general view of it. It's especially because it's something sacred for me, and most people don't see it that way. And you're trying to represent them. I can't like just I can't express how weird it was at certain phases when I'm trying my best not to only bring myself up, but to bring my whole country up with me and actually put a print. Especially knowing that um, Morocco wasn't in the first season of the competition; it was in the second season, and on the second season, uh, no, none of the winners was actually Moroccan. So that was my first aim, was actually to win the competition, but the least of my hopes were to go to not just be one of the finalists, but to actually be the first Moroccan who actually achieve in the competition. And that I did. I marked that box. And there's also the sense of relief it all ended. I mean, of course, I was a bit disappointed about not winning competition, but it didn't compare to how grateful I was to have the chance and how successful I felt for winning the award that I and to be aware that all of my hard work was not put into nothing, and that I can actually be the next season's country captain, and I could be the captain for other rising stars. And my message throughout all of this that I can do, and with my ability to do, I'm not just gonna do for myself and stop there. I want to bring up more people. I want to bring up arts. I want to bring up the idea of how sacred this stuff really is. I don't care what people around me think about what I'm doing or how irrelevant they see it compared to everything else that's going on in my country or just my neighborhood. I will fight for this and fight for the idea that artists around not just the country or the continent, but around the globe, artists should be given their roses. They should be appreciated, and they should not be taken lightly. I don't care how people try to diminish this and the competition and everything that was going on, but it was a huge achievement for me, and it was a milestone that would be it was a milestone basically. I mean, the greatest is yet to come, but I will still think about this probably more than anything else because it was the first major thing for me, and it was at that scale. It was international.
Man, you speak with such passion, bro.
Definitely, do feel it.
You
Of
speak with
course,
such passion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, if you can see it, you must be
hey,
passionate as well.
yeah, the whole time because and you know this whole idea, just the podcast, I like to uh talk to people that are doing interesting things, people that have ideas, people that are innovating in the music industry, and also in the music business. So that was one of my main agendas behind even
Yeah,
approaching you. It's just like this is a way for artists that don't have probably financial backing like that to go out there and kind of get funding, quote unquote, right? Because I take it, um, if you had got the 25K, you were going to reinvest it into the music, right? So
yeah,
that's how I look at it. It's like this opportunity. How best can we understand it? How best can we come together and just break it down and communicate it in a simple way for someone who watches this video to understand? Okay, take back the mic and do this. Does this, and I see how it can help me going forward.
yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming here and not caging and being very articulate as well, not biting any words and sharing your wisdom with us. I don't take it for granted, bro.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
don't take the chance to actually be able to speak about this and speak to you. I don't take it for granted as well. As you said, not much are keen into hearing what upcoming artists has to offer and what they have in their mind because they're still on the upcoming phase. It's until you actually make it to the top of the top when people fight over you and to have a moment with you, but not everybody would do this and try to speak to people who are on the rise. It's only people who do believe in what they're doing and do believe in the arts and the artists in general who would actually take in consideration to talk to someone who's on the rise and not made it yet. Because um, let's face it, it's really hard to be there and get there, but I think it's more beautiful when you talk to someone who still have that passion and that hunger for more. Because if you made it to the top, of course, a lot of people would still be hungry for more. But there's no hunger like the hunger of someone who's actually starving. And gems like this should be captured early on the artists' careers. And for an artist myself to be able to speak about what I do and speak about my art like this, and for someone to actually listen and have a decent conversation with you and learn from you while you learn from them. This is not just a passing occasion for me. And just like the competition, when I first heard about your podcast, without even any hesitation or without even further um, thinking, I blindly went in and texted you and said that I wanted to hop on the podcast and wanted to uh, talk to you about stuff, and it has been really fun. And yeah, I really do hope to make. I really hope to actually see you going somewhere with your podcast, like somewhere big, because I can see it that you really care about this and you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it or to make it big or for the money or the fame. You really care about about you listen first, and You made the conversation a lot more fluent than I thought it would have. And again, I thank you for the opportunity. And I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to speak about all of this. Thank you again.
Of course, bro. Where can the people find you if they want to reach out to you, listen to some of your stuff?
You can find me on YouTube at Drunk Panda, Drunk Space Panda. It's easy. And on Instagram at Drunk Panda underscore 01. Um, I'll be working on the other streaming platforms like Spotify and Deezer and Anghami and Apple Music pretty soon because I feel like I'm now ready for that step. And thank you, everybody for actually watching this. Thank you for the chance to be able to speak about the competition and myself as an artist. I appreciate it, and again, thank you.
Of course, bro, of course. And this will not be the last time, I can tell you that for sure. As we grow, myself, yourself as an artist as well, I hope to have you back. Maybe we can talk about something totally different in your journey as well. So look
Definitely,
forward to receiving my text. Definitely have your DMs
definitely.
open and let's stay in touch, bro.
Let's stay in touch. Definitely in for it.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Take care, yeah?
See you later.
All
Take
right.
care.